You have made an excellent choice, fanboys. Welcome to our review of the Shredder.
You know, Shredder, he's one of those figures, ever since he'd been sort of revealed in kind of those blurry pictures from the Toy Fair, I've been super interested in this figure. A lot of people have been really interested in how the Shredder was going to look in the movie. This figure so far was our best indication. I'm sure it's been modified slightly in the film, but still, I gotta say, this is an interesting figure. It's really cool. It's very unexpected. Certainly different than any other version of the Shredder we've ever gotten, but familiar in some really important ways.
Yeah. It's a throwback and something new all at the same time, which is impressive.
So without further ado, let's review Shredder.
Now you face the Shredder.
The Shredder?
Yeah, the Shredder. Just look at the Shredder here. I mean, again, if you've seen the Splinter review, I kind of went into this. Nobody can say that this guy can be confused for any, despite how kind of out there the design is. If you don't know it's the Shredder, you don't know the Acrobat Ninja Turtles. So, I think it gets the point across very well. It's an out there design, and it's an out there sculpt too, because you look at him and he's just incredibly intricate. Start with the helmet and just got this, I don't even know how to describe some of the design choices, and I like them. I'm not saying that they're poor or they're confusing, but like he's got this odd, like sort of mouth, like faceplate, and then the ridges around the back, and then on top as well, and a very intricate, very mechanical looking chest plate, and then he has a loincloth like the turtles. Of course, legs sculpted very much the same way as the chest plate. His arms are sculpted in several pieces because he has these standard human bear arms underneath, and then these harnesses with all the blades on them that are actually in separate pieces. You can take these off, but the two pieces don't separate; they're connected permanently. But yeah, it's just all. The back is sculpted really intricately too. There's the Shredder is behind. And the cape is sculpted very well textured. The design to me is actually extremely reminiscent of the Whiplash suit and the Hammer drones from Iron Man 2, which a movie I wasn't the biggest fan of, but a lot of the design work I really loved.
I'll tell you what it reminds me of. I thought that exact same thing earlier, and I never mentioned it to you. And it was because of the way the legs were made, and they reminded me so much of those actual figures from
the
Hasbro.
Hammer drones from Hasbro.
They look, they really put me in the mind of those.
Yeah.
Let's talk about these paint applications. There's not a great many of them on the Shredder, but I don't think that it detracts from them very much. I'll start out with just minor offenses. As you can see on the armor, there isn't the greatest variety of different kinds of silvers. Instead, what you're pretty much left with is kind of more of one kind of flat gray with two shiny highlights. We also have the shoulder pads cast in a more dull gray, which looks really good. It contrasts everything well. And then the side arms, since they're more like accessories, are all cast in the same color. So that's perfectly excusable. The loincloth is flexible and is done in the shiny silver like we have up here. We have the legs, which are all done in the flat gray, and then the blades are maybe a little bit lighter. On the back, we've got no real paint work on the back besides just the continuing gauntlets down here, which are just cast in a different plastic. Cape itself is done in more of a rubbery feel, and it's cast in sort of a lighter gray. But there's not very many paint apps. The worst offender for a lack of paint apps is the strangeness that is the Shredder's eyes. This is the thing that when you look at the figure, you know that there's something off or something confusing about the way it looks. Even though it's a great figure, your eye is instantly drawn to there's something going on, and you're not quite sure what it is that's wrong. But if you look, he's not exactly got eyes painted in there.
He's just not going to be a very colorful character in the movie.
Yeah.
So it's pretty indicative, and that's some very cool lighting going on.
Yes.
There's some effects lighting. Shredder comes with no accessories to speak of. He sort of has accessories, or at least some attachable elements. Actually, the cape is packaged separately, so you could consider that an accessory because, of course, it's not a necessity. The clamps on the cape are really interesting. Usually capes, either clip around the neck or they have like a single circle spot where they plug in, like the Nickelodeon Shredder. But these are two oblong circle slots with a lip on them, and they plug in really securely. Like this is not going to fall off, and you can tug at it with pretty great force, and it's not going to pop out on you. Now, additionally, his arm blades actually pop off. Like I said before, they're in 2 pieces. Now they don't separate, but you can take them off the arms, and I guess I could consider this an accessory, although even though they come off, I don't think they're supposed to, because his bare arms don't look very good. They're also not very big. Although I would have liked if he came with an accessory. I'd have liked a spear or a sword or something. But I don't. Again, I don't know if he's going to use anything like that in the film, like a lot of other things we're not sure about right now in terms of accuracy. So I don't know. I mean, he's not in want of a weapon. I think he can take care of himself all right. So I would have liked something, but it's not necessary. He's also the biggest figure, or the tallest at least, by far. So, I can forgive them for not wanting to throw in some extra plastic for us.
The next area that Shredder excels in, actually, is the articulation department. We start up here at the top, and he sort of has a loose head. Yeah. The joint end, we've seen 2 samples do this exact same thing.
I think it'll pop off, but I don't want to risk it because I'm not 100% sure. But if anybody out there knows, please leave a comment. Let us.
So that's the only reason there's an up and a down, but it doesn't hold. But it's really just side to side. That's all there is. One interesting bit of articulation is the shoulder pads actually go up and down. Probably removable, but I've not tried it. The other bit of articulation, we have hinges right here at the elbows. There is not a swivel at the elbow. There's a hinge at the shoulder, but it can only go as far as these things will let you, so it only goes up about that much. That's kind of unfortunate. There is a cut, so it goes strapped down. Get it? A cut? Creative White. Also, just for kicks and giggles, we have the wrist, which can actually turn. There's a cut. That's better than the Ninja Turtles. I mean, that's why the Turtles hate him so much, because he has a wrist cut. And
he doesn't even have a sword to hold, like I said before. He has no reason to do this, but he doesn't.
All right. And then down here, the loincloth can move, which will allow you some great articulation options. So you can get a really good kick, pretty much straight out, so that really isn't in the way like you'd think it would be.
He's got voice cut.
Yeah, he does have voice cut. Right here, you can actually just go straight around. You wouldn't think so, but he does. There's just not many figures these days that even have that point of articulation. Just like the Ninja Turtles, he has a straight up and down hinge on the leg, combined with this kind of revolving ball joint at the hip. So really good, really sturdy. Here we have a hinge here at the knee, but it's not a very deep hinge. It's deep enough to get what you need, but it can go about that far. We also have hinges at the ankles, so really good range of motion, maybe a little bit better than the Foot Soldier even. So overall, really impressive articulation. The Shredder fares just as well as the Foot Soldier in that department, so he's in good shape.
Now the Shredder calls back to a couple of previous designs. He's obviously pretty close to the Super Shredder from Secret of the Ooze. But I think he shares a pretty good kinship with actually the Nickelodeon Shredder from the 2012 line. Or this is actually the second version. First figure wasn't very good. But, I think that it's important for companies like Nickelodeon or Playmates, whoever is in the position to decide to kind of streamline their product. You always want Optimus Prime to be immediately identifiable as Optimus Prime or Superman as Superman or whatever it may be. And, although, like I've said before, the Shredder is a pretty big departure visually, I think that, you look at these two and there's, there is a kindredness to them. There is a commonality. They both have sort of they're both an extreme take on the Shredder. That I think complement each other very well.
It's very simple to see that they're both a Shredder. That was
in-depth look at the Shredder. Kusaki, Chirel, whatever. Who can complain? There's already been 500,000 Shredders.
There's 1,000 Shredders out there. But like we said in the review, interesting figure. He's just so wonderfully bizarre.
Yeah, he's a gnarly figure.
He's this 5-inch figure for one thing, in a 3 3/4 scaled line. For obvious scale purposes. The design is so weird, and it's just so strange. And even for the paint shortcomings and some different little things he's got going on, maybe the articulation could have improved a few places. For $8.99, he's still a really good deal in today's market. like we said, maybe could use a little bit more paint.
Yeah, and I do. I am disappointed by the lack of the cut at the bicep, but you can't. At least he's got the cuts at the wrist, which I really appreciate.
Yeah, but overall, I would say the Shredder is a solid 4-star figure.
Yeah, I think the paint bothers me a little more than it does Jared, so I would lean more towards a 3.5 out of 5 stars. But still very good. And with this line in general, there's no 5-star figures here, so
right.
In the context of the line, 3.5 stars out of 5 is really good.
Yeah, this is really good for this line. So there you go, folks. If this version of the Shredder appeals to you, go ahead and pick it up. If it doesn't, I don't know, pick it up and see. Maybe it'll grow on you a little bit. So enjoy, guys.
Maybe all that hardware is for making coleslaw.
Oh,
right, Shredder.
Rate, comment, and subscribe. Thank you.
Appreciate it. I'm the Shredder. Toy Store Ghost. We're just gonna do a supercut of us doing all the goofy.
Yep. It's just time to talk about the paint. Oh boy, I don't want to say that.
If I have to, I'll talk about the paint.
One interesting thing. I started off like that, but we're getting tired.
Yeah.
Okay.
Have Scruffy.
Scruffy. We're going to make lots of Scruffy jokes.
Oh my God, no.
Go Scruffy, go Scruffy, go.
Oh no, he's loose again.
Oh man, not the game.
Oh no, Scruffy is Home Alone 2, Lost in New York.
The power!